Hello, everyone. Welcome to deCode with IIITR, the podcast where we explore journeys and insights of pioneers and change makers, those who challenge norms and inspire others. This is our second episode, and we have a very special guest, an alumnus of IIIT Raichur, who have made an incredible journey from IIIT Raichur to Suzuki, Japan. Please welcome Vibhanshu Jain. Hello, Vibhanshu.
Hello, thank you. You should not use the term special guest because I am a student only.
Okay. Before getting into professional advice and or any other things, let's rewind a little bit back and we'll go to your childhood. What kind of student you are and how did all this started?
In my childhood, I would really say I was inspired by Three Idiots or something. I used to always carry the screwdriver in my pocket. We all had, I think all of us had the story that we used to have remote control cars in our home.
Yes.
I used to purchase a car, then I
Mm.
used to take a screwdriver, open it and see what is inside. Very curious child, always wanted to see wow, what is happening, why it is happening, and how I can degenerate it, how I can improve it.
Are you now closer to building one or have you seen it? Uh,
Um, I haven't built a real car so,
okay.
but when I was in class 8 or so, I used to work in robots.
Okay.
So I made like a robot in a science project, and we all used to make windmills, right?
Yeah, with
When
motors and
yeah, with motors we used to make windmills when we were students in the school. I used to do that.
okay. So did you see engineering behind it? Was that reason choosing engineer, or you wanted to become a doctor or a CA? What is the reason behind choosing engineer?
The reason behind choosing the engineer is the feeling of the kid, which is always curious to see what is happening and always curious to remake it, make it something more important, make it something more useful for my use case. And that brings me more interested towards the engineering.
Yes, engineering really adds that aspect of modeling thing, making things real, how it works. So yeah. So coming to that point, then you can share your JE journey. Like that may be my nightmare to someone. Yeah, you can share yours. Definitely, it might not be a very easy thing.
Yeah, that's a that's a nightmare for that was a nightmare for me as well.
Yeah.
So I studied in Ajmer. I'm from Ajmer, Rajasthan. I
Okay.
started studying in the RJ Academy
Okay.
in Ajmer in my 11th and 12th. And in my 12th, I was not able to score a very good percentile in JEE mains. So because of that, I firstly took admission in the Government Engineering College Ajmer, and
Okay.
I started studying BSc Honors Chemistry. I dropped my plan of becoming an engineer and I joined BSc Chemistry. But then again, I went to institute and I got motivation. I started working. I started studying again in RJ Academy. And in the drop year, I studied for BSc Honors Chemistry as well. I studied for JE as well. And I was able to get a decent rank, I could say,
Yeah.
to come to IIIT Raichur.
Yeah. I think that's a really great pivot. I don't think so many people usually do. No, that's what breaking norm really is. Because no, it's not easy because when someone is already joined in an admission and again preparing it for it, so that's really crazy. So yeah. Now, when we're talking about JE, I think more than celebrating the result, I think the preparations should be celebrated. So if I'm talking about preparation, well, that should be given more priority because it's not about studying, solving material, giving mock exams and getting results. It is about the peer pressure that you actually have to live with because normal student there's a difference if a 12th class is writing a JE exam and when a drop student is writing an exam. So how did you face this peer pressure? And I think this is a really important topic in India currently. I think I definitely we need your view on this.
Okay, so my story lies pretty different in that terms.
Okay.
So from the starting, in the drop year from the starting, I was last benchers. I was always on the last bench, and I still remembered three of my friends. One is Kunal and one is Yogendra. So we three always used to sit on the last benches. And I'm sorry about that, but we didn't study a lot in the classes. even though somehow we were able to clear all the questions. So whenever the faculty is gonna ask like, what is the answer for this? Then we all are not answering, but then faculty will mention, hey, you three, please answer. And like, okay, here's the answer. So I didn't really fear the peer pressure.
Mm,
Rather, I enjoyed studying along with them.
mm,
And we three, all of us are now, we have very good locations.
yeah.
So one of him is another country,
Hmm.
and one is in Bangalore.
Okay. So yeah, I think that preparation journey only that I would actually want to stress about, because not everyone's situation is same, and everyone do face different. It might be parental pressure or the peer pressure which is happening. So that was the key point of asking behind this. So you had a maybe a maybe a good thing, not so typical.
Not peer
Yeah,
pressure, I could
yeah,
say,
yeah.
but peer pressure of sitting in the last benches. Yes, really.
Now let's talk about IIIT Raichur and happening. So yeah, what was your reaction when you got IIIT Raichur? I guess there must be definitely some excitement and fearness because this is one of the youngest IIIT, or probably the youngest IIIT currently. So what was your views on that?
All of my stories or all of my life, like it's pretty roller coaster from the starting. I really added Triple IT Raichur in the JOSA list,
Yeah, counseling.
counseling
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
exactly 2 hours or 1 hour before the choice locking. I come to know about Triple IT Raichur maybe on the same day in the morning.
Okay.
I just went to my institute and I asked like, can you please review my list,
List.
and if you have any suggestions. Then Siddharth sir, he suggested me that there's a new institute called Triple IT Raichur, which is researched by some other person. You can put it in the list. And I searched Triple IT Raichur and I added in the list. And yeah, now I'm sitting there.
I think this is really a cool moment because I think you didn't even see the picture of a campus or anything, nor you knew anything more about it. Really, these kind of decisions, like which may completely change few things. Maybe IIIT Raichur might bought the IITH collaboration a thing. So these things, I feel they are really great. We have to trust something. It's not like we are always choosing the legacy, but sometimes the gut decision, what we say, I think that really helped in this way.
Sometimes you need to build a legacy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we need to build the legacy, not following the legacy. Cool. That is a really cool point.
Yep.
Now, so what was back then when it started? Your first day. You might tell about your first day.
My first day, um, same again from the institute. My professor or my faculties, they referred me to one person named as Harshit Gupta,
Okay.
Harshit Bhaiya.
Hmm.
He was the only guy I knew in IIT Hyderabad. I started from Ajmer
Hmm.
with just a small sum of money in the pocket
Okay.
and didn't knew anything what's gonna happen. I started in the flight. That was my first flight from Kishangarh to Hyderabad. First time I'm taking the flight. As soon as I landed in Hyderabad, there was Harshad Bhaiya's friend who was at the airport to help me out to reach to the campus. And then he gave me a room for a day. And then he made me comfortable in Hyderabad that if you need anything else here, please let me know. So my first day was very good because of him, and all of my initial days were very good because of him.
Yeah. Coming to this point, I think there is some connection between students here in the engineering colleges because we don't really see this bond outside. We might not have that exposure, but whenever you start a new journey or go to a new place, we find these kind of friends or people who really try to help us, which mostly help us in settling down. So I think that also happened to you, and that also happened to me. So whenever we are trying to start a new journey, this thing is really good and appreciable about engineering colleges.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about the courses? What was your feedback?
I didn't really remembered all of them,
Yeah.
but I could really say I was afraid a lot of the calculus.
Okay.
We all had a very, you can say it was one of the nightmares. Like I remembered calculus 1, calculus 2, and calculus 3. Those were the most difficult courses,
Mhm.
and all of most of the courses when we started in the first years, it was in the IIT Hyderabad campus. So we used to have mostly the same sort of syllabus as IIT Hyderabad, and the same faculty used to come and teach us once again.
Yeah. I think now we have to talk about IIT Hyderabad. It definitely played an important role in IIIT Raichur's journey, and definitely might be an individually as you as well. So we want to know what is your relationship with them? How did they mentor you?
Okay, so I always says to all of my friends out there, IIT Hyderabad is a place where I born as a professional, and IIIT Raichur is a place where I worked as a professional
Okay,
in my student time.
that's a really
In
good
Hindi, we
statement.
can say
Uh,
IIT Hyderabad is Janmabhoomi and IIIT Raichur is my Karmabhoomi.
mm, that really is very powerful statement. Anything experience? What was your experience there at IIT Hyderabad? Mostly, even IIT Hyderabad also started around the same period. You also might have joined with the students earlier with them also. So, any experience that you would like to share? What impact did it create to you?
IIT Hyderabad. I would share my experience of my first years. So in Ajmer, in my hometown, we usually didn't get the rank like year 60 or year 100 or year 200. Like those are like very, very high ranks. It was very difficult to get them.
Mm,
And if someone is having it, then they are very, very bright. And I was able to see those rank people
mm,
or like so much higher rank people in IIT Hyderabad just studying together. We are together in the same place. We are going to the classes together. We are having lunch and dinner together. It was a very, very exciting it was very exciting from the starting. And I always says to all of my colleagues over there, I always says to all of the IIIT Raichur and all the students out there, when you go to a college in the first years, you are basically without anything. You are empty pockets. All you have to gain is to talk with people. All you have to do is to gain knowledge, is to gain the connection, is to make the friends. Go with the empty hands. See, the whole campus has a lot of opportunities for you. All you need to see is open your eyes and grab them.
yeah, really good. So, let's move into professional discussion. I
Yep.
mean, career towards career. What is learning according to you? Is it completing all courses with A grade and do your engineering, get a placement, do DSA? What's your view?
My friends, that's it.
Can you elaborate it more?
I got very, very good friends in IIT Hyderabad. They taught me smile. They taught me how to smile, how to cry, how to feel that particular moment.
Mm,
Even if you are in very difficult situation, then there might be others who are the same as you. Just go with them, talk to them. You will be happy.
mm,
If you are facing something, share to others. They will help you out. It's all about the people.
yeah. So it is more than books.
Yes,
So you agree on that point? Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. And can you talk about events or fests which are happening? So how do they play a role? I mean, because students are now engaged in academics or any other things, co-curricular activities, sports and fests, these are important. Did you had the chance of visiting or having this fests and all? And what do you think about this aspect of co-curricular
Act-
in one student life, in a college life?
Yes. So I was part of almost all the different kind of festivals. I could say Elan and Vision, which is a technoculture festival of IIT Hyderabad. Let it be the ESL or let it be the any other club activities. I was involved in many of them.
Hmm.
In my first year when I was in IIT Hyderabad, I was a coordinator. I was a volunteer for most of the domains of the college fest. I was one of the coordinators or one of the coordinator in TEDx as well when I
Hmm.
was in my
Hmm.
second year.
Hmm.
And it's been a pretty really amazing journey.
Hmm.
I would really say that in the college, it's not only about the books. It's not only about your grades. What matters the most is the experience which you are getting.
Yes.
The experience which you are getting from the books is will stay from 9 to 5, but you have to live the life after 5 p.m. as well, right?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Who will teach you that life, what you have to live after 5 p.m.? That you will get from your co-curricular activities.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Um, with that point being said, most of the viewers also have to know this. Who are the founding coordinators of most of the clubs in IIITR? I think the answer is very clear. Most of the clubs and the PR team and everything. I think you should say more about that. How it all started. Was it confusing or overwhelming? What was the reaction then when you're starting out clubs?
I would like to mention Mitali ma'am.
Okay.
So she's the one who created the PR team.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who is, I could say, behind, I think, this activities as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we started with the motivation that IIIT Raichur being a new one, it has to create its own image.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting from zero, but one day we will reach the most amazing heights. See, in the same way, we need to start the clubs as well. If we want to start, then who will start it?
Yes.
If you will not start today, then after 10 years, someone should start it.
Mm.
But what would happen if you do it today? After 10 years, when you will come back to the same place and proudly say that I was the one who made the building block of it.
Yes. Yes.
And as being one of the initial batches of IIIT Raichur,
Yeah.
all of us shares that prides together.
Yeah, I think really those founding clubs are really important, and today it's successfully running. And one mention about the PR team, the public relations team, the management has been really good in supporting the team as well. It has started mostly like 2 to 3 members. Now it's a team of 20 members, and we have access to everything, and it's incredibly growing. Similarly, various clubs, we have even new 4 clubs which has been incubated recently, and uh, yeah, we have new clubs and they have been running successfully. We are having now bigger scale hackathons. I think that's one good information that you can infer out of all these 5 years which happened here in IIITR. Yeah.
Yes.
Share your thoughts on hackathons or events, coding events. Do they really matter? Because few people argue that hackathons give real-time experience. Few people say learn more skill, do more competitive programming. So what is your view? So is it purely technical that are we choosing it, or is it the experience that we should get? So what is your view on this?
I will share one very important line over here,
Hmm.
which I would really like to recommend to all the students out there as well from
Hmm.
other institutes. The boundary of your college, for example, we are sitting in IIIT Raichur, so the boundary is just a physical boundary,
Hmm.
but you need to cross that. You need to cross it and go out of the box. How you are going to cross it? To part in by participating in hackathons, by participating in the coding contest. If you won't go out of it, you don't know with whom you are competing. It's not about the students in this university.
Hmm.
It's you are gonna compete, or you are also a software engineer, and there are thousands or lakhs of software engineers out there. How you know what they are doing? Unless you will meet them,
Yes,
unless you
absolutely.
will build along with them.
Hmm. Adding to this point, the hackathon scenarios or the all the skill events now has been changed. Now, why it has been changed? This is due to AI. Now, AI has been everywhere, and most of the hackathons or events now support AI. So, what is your view on AI? So, if someone is living in a competitive world and given a task, are you a fool if you're not using AI? Or what is this thing? Why is this debate ever ending?
I would just complete in one line. If you don't use AI, the AI will replace you soon.
That's a really strong statement. Yeah. So, if you can elaborate more on that.
Okay, a very simple example. Now we are sitting in a place where ChatGPT and the other AI tools launched very recently.
Hmm.
I would really say the actual or the practical use of these tools, or how much powerful these tools are, is seen in the industrial level, which are not seen by the eyes
Hmm.
of
Human, yeah.
students
Yeah.
or even eyes by me.
Hmm.
the most energy or the amazing strength lies in the industries.
Hmm.
And if you don't use AI, you are behind the other world.
Yeah, yes. But let's see on the other side. So if someone is using AI for everything, so isn't he getting dumb? What if I open him a simple notepad and give him to write a code? So what is your view on that? When should AI be used? A human level, I mean, a daily user level, industry level, or a human itself uh, to make his things fast?
My view over here is I would not say that don't use AI at all, or I will not even say that use AI 100% to do everything of you.
Hmm.
Humans are very intelligent.
Hmm.
All you have to do is you have to command the AI to do your work. You need to learn how to command the AI.
Okay.
We have tools like GitHub Copilot, GitLab Duo.
Yes.
Those tools are not going to write the code on their own unless you guide them.
Hmm.
You can be a guider.
Yeah. Coming to guide, I think it's time for your guide.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you can tell more about it, how it started, how it incubated, its scale right now.
Okay, so it started back in 2020 and 2021 when it was a COVID time.
Hmm.
As soon as I met the co-founders,
Hmm.
the YourGuide,
Hmm.
and we started building up the idea
Hmm.
that while we being in the IIT Hyderabad, we had a good number of mentors. As I mentioned in the past,
Hmm.
that Harshad Bhaiya mentored me or helped me to stay or like being comfortable in IIT Hyderabad. In the same way, there were a lot of my seniors with whom I used to take a lot of references. I used to take a help, all of my friends who used to guide me to achieve something. And we felt it that this guidance or this sort of handholding is really missing in the institutes of Tier 3 and Tier 4 cities,
Exactly. Hmm.
where we don't really have the access to the alumni or we don't really have the access to the IIT people. In those kind of cities, it's really very important to give them handholding.
Yeah. I think nothing's more than a human touch, as we talked about, or guidance, because textbooks can guide you, but you can only live them when someone actually teaches you. I think that might be a core idea behind your guide.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can tell what were the initial challenges in this startup.
The initial challenges in the startup is to find out the customer segments.
Hmm.
And as we started in COVID, all of the co-founders are working from different cities.
Hmm.
So we started as a remote
Organization.
startup,
Yeah.
and now also
Hmm.
we are actually sitting in different time zones
Different time zones.
sometimes.
Yep.
So it's really difficult to work in a remote zones, but it also gives us the freedom to connect with as many people as we can
Hmm.
and help them to achieve their goals.
Yeah, I've seen your recent post where you had this debate of AI versus a mentorship. So if I want information, how to build a website or anything, I would go on ChatGPT. Maybe again there you've discussed about what's the human touch again. So there where exactly I felt this is the thing actually needed. So someone who's providing information as well as guiding you, like a brother, to be specific. Yeah.
I would like to mention one of the line which was shared by my sir
Hmm.
when I was in JEE preparation, RD sir. He used to say that a good teacher is the one who will teach you how to read the good books. Once you know how to read the good book, you will read more and more again.
Yeah.
But someone need to teach you how to read the book.
Hmm. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? A standard interview question. Professionally, maybe as a software engineer or an entrepreneur as a your get co-founder.
I would really say that my journey has been a roller coaster ride from the starting.
Hmm.
And I guess it will be a pretty roller coaster ride in the next 10 years.
Hmm.
And I'm not really sure where this ride is gonna go.
Okay.
But I want the support of everyone who is watching this video, all of you guys. If you have an idea and if you want to help us out, please reach out to me. Please help IIIT Raichur to grow more.
Yeah.
We all needs your help.
Yep. Now let's come to end of your engineering journey, or we'll talk about your placement at the company you're working. How was the reaction? Was it in India first or directly Japan? You can explain this whole scenario.
Um, I started working in a company and it's Japan first. So
Okay.
I never worked in India.
Mm-hmm.
I never worked in any company in India as a full-time employee.
Mm. So, what is your reaction when you're migrating to Japan? I mean, moving there, going to work. I think it might be a dream for any middle class Indian boy to go abroad, overseas, work there. So, how was your view? I think that's what we actually dreamt of before coming to an engineering college. Package lagna chahiye.
It's a pretty interesting story. So just one day before I was leaving to Japan, like next day I have the flight.
Hmm.
Mouse came. I'm sleeping outside in the sky. A mouse came and bite on my left hand.
Okay.
I was like, what is happening? So before that moment, I was pretty normal.
Okay.
But when that happened, then I was like, oh, I'm going to Japan next day. So I would say I was not that much excited.
Hmm.
I was not that much nervous. I was pretty normal because I had my friends over there.
What might be reason behind being neutral? Do you think that hard work that we do overall the period will that make us more humble and don't give such an exclamatory reactions? So, what do you think about this part?
I would say it's very similar to what happened when I came from Ajmer to IIT Hyderabad. It's all empty. You're going with empty hands.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is just do something good, collect more people,
Mm-hmm.
collect more resources.
What was your first day in Japan like? The culture shift, the time shift. What else shifted?
My first day when I went to Japan, I'm Jain,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a festival.
Okay.
We had the festival going as Pollution Pub,
Mm-hmm.
and I committed not to eat any onion or garlic on that day.
Mm-hmm.
On the first day, I went to Japan and we directly went to Hamamatsu. I went to Moss Burger and asked him for a burger. Like there were Japanese colleagues with me who helped me. I asked him like, can you please remove the onion? Can you please remove the garlic? I just want onion. I don't want any onion, garlic, or potato in the burger. And they gave me. I remembered it was around 560 yen or something, which counts about 300 rupees. That was a shock at that first moment.
Okay.
In day one, I'm having a burger of 300. And when I ate it, I was like, what? What did you give me? Is it a burger? That was the first shock. And in the night, as I mentioned before, that I had a few friends over there. They helped me to go to the nearby Don Quixote and get me all the necessary things like bed
Mm-hmm.
and all the, like, I could say, food items so that I can fill my stomach.
Yeah. So Indian food, do you cook Indian food or do you get available online? Is it available offline?
I'm a very good chef.
Now let's talk about Suzuki. How was your first day then?
First day was with all of my Indian colleagues who went along with me,
Mm-hmm.
all the colleagues from IIT Hyderabad. And we had a basic training on the day one
Okay.
that how we should be working in Japan, what are the basic norms or what are the basic rules even when we are riding on the cycles,
Mm-hmm.
which are very important. As we go from India to Japan, there are many things which changed. The rules of the traffics are different.
Mm-hmm.
Even the rules how you should behave in the public is also different.
Okay.
So we were learning all of that for the few initial days.
Uh, what are a few things that you think Indians should incorporate from Japanese culture? Or is there any vice versa that Japan has to learn from India?
Um, I really learned one or two very interesting things from the Japanese culture. In Japan, you will see the houses are not too much big,
Okay.
but the houses which I have seen are not too much big. The cars are pretty compact. Why so? Because they are thinking in more optimizing the space. In India, we need a very big space because the big space looks pretty good. But in Japan, the thing which matters most is the more compact it is, the more easy to manage it, the more easy to clean it,
Hmm.
and the more easy to give it to the next one.
What are your favorite places in Japan, or is there any go-to place for you?
My story or my feelings are pretty different from all the tourists who comes to Japan. For me, the most beautiful place in Japan is nature. The way they preserve their nature, the way they keep their nature untouched. That's what my heart is lost.
Coming to that, we heard that you have a interesting story about a random trip in Japan, a 5-day random trip. You can share that.
So in Japan, last this winter vacations, I went on a completely solo trip for the 5 days
Mm-hmm.
without any destination plan.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is just take the Juhachi Kippu, by which you will get the access of the Jaya trains
Okay.
for next 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
You can really stop at any station. You can go at any station, and I followed my heart in that. I went to all the places where I can go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I was just going to the new station, and then I saw suddenly that there's a good ocean nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and I just stopped the next stop. It was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I speak it in Japanese, then 私は日本で日本のシーズンは一番好き。日本のシーズンは本当にとてもいい。
Can you please translate to us?
So, Japan, for me, Japan's nature is the place where my heart is at.
Stress buster also.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now that you're in India, what is that thing you're missing most about Japan?
The thing which I most miss about Japan is the sound of floating water
Okay.
and the nature. There are some instances in which I was in a place where there is no human nearby. All I can hear is the sound of the water, the birds, the trees, and I can see the stars.
So now let's get to the last segment of this podcast. It's going to be a rapid fire. So I'll ask you and you have to answer it back to me
Yes,
if you wish so.
if I wish so.
Yeah. First thing you do after waking up.
Making the chai,
Okay. One thing you miss most about India.
the food, and temple.
Hmm. Best piece of career advice you've received.
Listen to your heart.
Okay. If not a software engineer, what would you be?
A full-time traveler.
Okay. Interesting. One thing every IIIT Raichur student must do before graduating.
Mm. Make good friends.
Hmm. What's your LPA?
それはダメだよ. That's not allowed.
With that being said, you can give a final message period to the IIIT Raichur students or to the general audience watching this podcast.
So, to all the students out there, to all of my IIIT Raichur colleagues, or my colleagues, I could say, not juniors.
Okay.
So, all of the IIIT Raichur colleagues, please travel a lot. Please travel with your friends. If you're in first years, please make new friends. If you're in second years, please try to explore more about the academics
Hmm.
and believe on your professors,
Hmm.
believe on the mentors. They know much better than you and they are here to guide you. In your third years, it's the time to figure out what really need to do in the life as well,
Hmm.
what really you want to do as after the education. And the fourth year is the last year of your college life. Your college life is never gonna come back. Spend as much as time you can with your colleagues. Spend as much as time you can with your friends,
Hmm.
and go for so many trips. The world is big. It's not the four boundaries of Triple IT Raichur. Go beyond it and see you in Japan.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, audience, also for tuning into this episode. That's Vibhanshu Jain for you, and this is your host, Harsha. signing off. Bye.
皆さん、ありがとうございました。今までありがとうございます。
Arigato.